Because you guys loved our last Star Wars video, we spent even more time and research on this one. And honestly, it might be our favorite video we've done. Hope you enjoy watching it as much as we did creating it. You're standing in the jungle with smoke rising around you. The fighting stopped maybe 2 minutes ago. The blaster fire, the screaming droids, all of it, gone. Just the sound of insects now, starting up again, and the creak of the canopy above you. Smoke drifting through the ferns, like it has nowhere else to be. You're holding your rifle at your side. The barrel is still warm. There's a body in the undergrowth ahead of you. You know who it is. You know what you just did. What you can't explain is why. Let's go back to this morning. The briefing was standard. Push the droid line back to the ridge, secure the outpost before nightfall, and hold it until transport could land. General Sarah Voss laid it out on the holomap like she always did, tracing the terrain with 2 fingers, pointing out the enemy positions with a calm that made the whole thing feel manageable. She'd done it so many times across so many planets that you'd stopped being amazed by it. The steadiness of her, the way a room with 40 soldiers in it would go completely quiet the moment she started talking. She had this habit of finishing every briefing the same way. She'd look around the room at all of you, take a breath, and say, "Come back to me." Not, "Come back in one piece," not, "Good luck out there." Just that. Come back to me. Like it was a request she was making, like she understood that orders were one thing and asking was another. You heard it 50 times across 3 years and 4 campaigns. It never got old. There were things you knew about her that had nothing to do with the war. She made terrible calf, and always offered it anyway. She remembered the name of every soldier in the battalion, not just the sergeants. She'd once sat with a trooper named Bix for 2 hours after he took a hit at Gillian Ridge, one that killed the 2 men beside him. She didn't say much. She just stayed. That story had moved through the unit like all the good ones do, quietly and without announcement. You'd been serving under her since Geonosis. Back then you were fresh out of Camino, shiny armor, no scratches, no name, just a number, CT-4187. She's the one who changed that. She called you Cade, said you reminded her of a pilot she knew when she was young, someone brave and a little reckless. You didn't know what to do with that. None of you did at first. Most people in the Republic treated clones like equipment. Walk here, shoot there, die quietly. The Jedi were different. They talked to you, asked how you're doing, learned your names, not your numbers. Kilo Squad was your unit, a unit of 5 including you. Torque, your squad sergeant, a big guy with a laugh like an engine turning over, the kind of man who made every room feel slightly calmer just by being in it. Mace, the sharpshooter, the kind who could drop a droid from 100 meters and act like he was thinking about something else entirely. Dex and Pell, inseparable in attitude if not in blood, always finishing each other's sentences and arguing about everything else. You'd been together since your 2nd deployment. You knew how each of them moved, how they breathed under pressure, what it meant when Torque went quiet, or when Dex laughed at the wrong moment. You moved through the jungle in pairs, pushing through the canopy toward the ridge. The morning was loud with insects and wet with heat, and the occasional distant crack of blaster fire from another unit working a parallel route. Torque was on your left. He wasn't talking, which meant he was focused. You could always tell by the way he held his rifle just slightly higher than usual when his head was fully in it. First contact came before you reached the valley floor. A droid patrol rounding a cut in the ferns, moving in a loose column. Mace dropped the lead unit before it could signal. The rest turned, confused, scanning the tree line in that mechanical, unhurried way they had. They fell in under 12 seconds. No casualties, not even close. Torque looked at you and gave you a nod that meant, good, let's keep moving. You kept moving. This was the rhythm of it. 3 years of this exact rhythm, the same drills running through the same motions, and you'd stop thinking of it as anything other than work. General Voss was working the left flank with the scouts. You caught glimpses of her through the canopy, that distinctive white armor moving between the trees faster than it had any right to. She moved differently than other Jedi you'd served with. She didn't throw herself at things. She read them first. You once watched her stand completely still in the middle of an open courtyard while blaster fire came in from 3 directions. But she wasn't even fazed, like she was listening to something underneath all the noise. Then she moved, and it was over. You'd watched her do this dozens of times, and it still looked like a trick being done in front of your eyes. She'd use the Force to redirect a droid's shot back into the unit behind it, pull a weapon out of a mechanical hand from 20 meters away, all with her mind. The men trusted her the way soldiers trust someone who keeps them alive, completely and without discussion. By midday, you had the ridge. The droid line broke faster than expected. Their units fell back toward the outpost, and General Voss called a hold on the high ground, giving everyone time to regroup before the final push. You sat against a vine-wrapped boulder and drank the last of your water. Pell tossed Dex a ration pack without looking. Torque sat with his back to a tree and cleaned his rifle with the focused, unhurried patience of someone who had done it 1,000 times. Mace was already in position on a rocky outcrop above, watching the valley. Normal. Everything was completely normal. That's when the comms opened. Not your squad, not the unit frequency. Every channel at once. Something you'd never heard happen before, a simultaneous broadcast cutting across all of it. A voice you'd only ever heard in official recordings, in Senate broadcasts, in the kind of addresses that came over the ship's speakers when something large was happening. Execute Order 66. 3 words. Then silence. The channel closed. And then something happened inside your head. It's hard to describe. It wasn't a sound, and it wasn't a pain. It was more like a door you didn't know existed swinging shut in the back of your mind. Not violent, almost gentle. A click. And everything that you were, your name, your memories of Torque's laugh, your first battle, the smell of rain on Gellion Ridge, the sound of General Voss saying, "Come back to me," in a briefing room that always smelled like engine oil. All of it was still there. But it moved back, receded, like you were watching yourself from somewhere further inside than you'd ever been, looking out through your own eyes from a great distance, through the visor of someone else's helmet. Your body stood up. You didn't decide to stand up. Your hand checked your rifle. You didn't decide to check your rifle. Around you, you could hear the others, the soft crunch of boots, the rustle of armor through undergrowth. No one spoke. No one needed to. Whatever had just happened had happened to all of them at exactly the same moment. And now they were all moving, and none of them had decided to move either. There were other things filling your head now, flooding in through the space where the door had swung shut. Certainties, not thoughts you were having. Thoughts that were having you, hard and complete and without cracks. The Jedi are traitors. They've moved against the Republic, against the Chancellor, against everything you've bled for across 3 years of war on a dozen different planets. The thought was fully formed, and it sat there like it had always been sitting there, waiting for the door to open. Good soldiers follow orders. Your legs were carrying you, and your rifle was up, and the undergrowth was parting around you. And it all felt correct. It all felt like the most logical thing in the world. Torque was to your left, moving in the same direction, at the same pace, with the same posture. You registered something off about the way he was walking. And then you understood. It wasn't off at all. It was exactly the same as whatever was happening to you. General Voss was at the tree line ahead. Her back was partially turned. She was looking out over the valley below the ridge, watching the droid positions, probably planning the final approach to the outpost. She turned before you were close. She'd felt it. Whatever the Force let her sense, it had told her something was coming before you were even visible through the canopy. She stood very still and watched the squad approach through the trees. The look on her face wasn't fear. It was something much harder to look at than fear. It was a look that said she already understood exactly what had happened. And she knew it wasn't your fault. And she was sorry for all of it. "Cade, what's happening?" You raised your rifle. You watched yourself raise your rifle from somewhere much further behind your own eyes than you'd ever been. "Come back to me." It arrived from behind the door. Not the certainties, not the Chancellor's voice, not any of the hard, clean logic filling your skull. Just hers. 50 briefings. 40 soldiers going quiet. The way she said it, like it was a real request. It didn't stop your finger from tightening. She deflected the first 3 shots. She was fast. She was always fast. But there were too many of you, and you were too close, and she trusted you too much to ever keep her distance. The jungle went quiet again. You're standing in the smoke with the barrel still warm, and a body in the ferns, and the door still shut, and you still behind it. Looking out through your own eyes at the same jungle that was there 10 minutes ago when everything was normal, except that it isn't the same jungle at all. And you're the one who changed it. Torque stands a few meters to your right. He's staring at nothing. His helmet turns toward you slowly. Neither of you speak. There's nothing to say, and the part of you that would have known what to say is still behind the door. Somewhere through the canopy to your left, Mace and Pell and Dex are on the comm. Voices flat and clipped and even, securing the area, following protocol. They sound like you feel. Hollow and correct. Like the words are being said by the right mouths in the right order, and none of it is coming from anywhere real. You wonder from behind the door if they can feel it too. If somewhere inside each of them, something is also watching. If this is what it's like for all of them, or just you. You don't get an answer. The chip doesn't leave room for that kind of wondering for long. You start walking toward the outpost. There's still a mission, and a republic. There's still an order, and a chancellor who gave it, and a Jedi who was a traitor and has been dealt with. And that's all there is. The certainties hold everything together like scaffolding inside your skull, filling every crack, making it feel clean and logical and right. You're a soldier. Soldiers follow orders. That's what you are. That's all you've ever been. But underneath all of it, in the place behind the door, where the part of you that's still you has retreated to, something is happening that the chip can't reach. Something small and stubborn that doesn't have a name. It's just remembering. The map table, the 2 fingers tracing the terrain, the way she looked around the room at all of you before sending you out, every single time, without fail, like you were something worth looking at. The day she called you Cade and you became someone, instead of something. "Come back to me," she'd said, but you didn't. Thanks for sticking around to the end. And if you like this video, consider becoming a channel member. Your support directly helps us create more videos just like this one. Also, watch this video next.